Here's a segment for you guys called Take the Seat. Now, a lot of the times when we are watching our favorite sport, we always kind of assume that we know better than the coach that is looking after the team we support. So here's a segment for you guys. I'm giving you the opportunity to take the seat of the coach that I'm going to be raising in terms of this topic. And the topic of today is, what is going on with England? Why are one of the favourites for the Euro 2024 before the tournament so underwhelming? And how can the coach fix it? This is where you come in. This is where you take the seat. Is it time to try new things? And what would you do? So I would like you to leave those comments. Here are a couple of options for you guys. Let me know which one you agree with, or even if you have your own opinion on it, I would like to hear from you guys. At the moment, England are, let's say, underwhelming. Yes, they've got 4 points from 2 games. Yes, it's coming into the third game where they might even qualify with just a draw. But saying that, the performances haven't been great. And I've had our own Anna Schofield as well, who's messaged me saying, what is going on with this team? And she's passionate. Obviously, she's English and she's passionate about the England national team. And I've had Mufid, who's messaged me saying, I need to let this out on someone. I'm sorry, Omar, you're going to be that guy. So all in all, there are all these different people that have strong opinions about coaching. And here is what I would do, seeing that you've sent me those messages already. Now, at the moment, we kind of have to face that Gareth Southgate, as an international manager, will not have the type of time that club managers have day to day for long periods of time of the season. International managing and club coaching is very, very different in the sense that you don't have as much time with the players that you have. So one thing you must try and consider is what they're good at and what player characteristics they bring to your system. Whether you're going to base the system around the players or the players around the system, you have to have that in mind. That's the first thing. The second thing is the formation that you play isn't normally as relevant as what they do in and out of possession in different parts of the game. If you normally score early, which England have, they've normally sat back, which in that position is probably wrong. There are certain spaces that are not being occupied or utilized in a way that they should be. And this is where Take the Seat segment comes in, because I think the relationships that those players already have with their clubs, you kind of have to use. And if they don't have that relationship and it's not working, you have to consider other things. Now, so far, Southgate's played the same team twice in a row. And a lot of people are blaming 1 or 2 players for not performing. However, it's more than that. And we have to think why. Harry Kane is dropping in from the number 9 position into a 10 position, which he normally likes to do. Other people call that the false 9. But the spaces that he's occupying kind of restricts players like Foden and Bellingham and Saka to roam around. And although Harry Kane's been super successful everywhere he's been by doing so, at this stage now, it's time to consider going a little bit higher up on the pitch, maybe not having a low block later on, and probably occupying the back line, which stops them from actually playing out the back. So that's the first thing. The second thing is, by having Harry Kane on the line of the defense, you then have the spaces for your Fodens, your Bellinghams to roam into, which is what they like. Sometimes if you do see Harry Kane dropping into the false 9, then that run from the midfield, which was successful in Bellingham's goal, will be very, very valuable for England, because that space is required to be filled. You see what I mean by spaces? It's all about spaces. And the balance of the team has been pretty much blamed on 1 or 2 players. Phil Foden, who was player of the season in the Premier League, which is the most competitive league in the world, and Trent Alexander-Arnold, who's probably the most talented passer in the England setup. So overall, to blame those 2 players, Trent Alexander-Arnold's skill set is to be able to play incredible passes all across the pitch, short and long distance. But if the players are coming into the space that he wants to play over the top, no one is there to receive. And so therefore, with Foden playing on the left and Saka playing on the right, in my opinion, because it's not working, Saka's been relatively consistent in the first 2 games and probably one of the very few players that you could say has had a decent tournament so far. But Saka used to be a wing back in the day, and people were talking about him playing at left back. I wouldn't do that. I would play him left wing and play Foden on the right wing. Why? Because the relationship between him, Walker and Stones on that right side is very familiar, and it's not something you need to coach. So therefore, I'm taking the seat of Gareth Southgate by suggesting that Foden has to play on the right, Saka on the left, and Bellingham behind Kane. Now, with that happening, even though I love Trent Alexander-Arnold, it just hasn't worked. And Southgate admitted himself that it's an experiment. So because it's an experiment, I would get someone in there to balance Declan Rice. Now, he's also been criticised, but if you look at some of his most successful times throughout the season, he had a holding player next to him in Jorginho or Partey, which allowed him to defend higher up, but also to get involved in getting the pass out of his feet and out to the wings. So I would probably, and not many people will agree with this, I would bring in Crystal Palace's Wharton in there, a defensive midfielder, left-footed as well. Love a left-footed player on the left side of the three, and have him play there. The back four I wouldn't change, and Pickford I wouldn't change either. So that would be my suggestion. Still playing most of the same players, but just switching Saka on the left and Foden on the right, Bellingham behind Kane, Wharton and Rice holding, and the back four and Pickford. Now, very quickly, if I wasn't Southgate and I looked at the players that I have, here's what I would do, and this is, again, an idea, right? Okay, my idea would be the following. The following would be, my formation would be a 3-4-2-1. Pickford in goal. A back three of Gahey, who's been fantastic, Stones and Walker, one of the best one-on-one defenders there. I would play four ahead of them. On the right side, I'd play Trent Alexander-Arnold because of his passing ability, especially on the right wing-back role, where he'll have someone behind him who can protect him. Like Van Dijk does at Liverpool, he'll have Walker behind him, Stones and Gahey. In the middle, I would have Mainu and Rice, someone who can carry the ball and also deliver the ball higher up and is very smart in possession. In Mainu, Rice next to him, and Saka would be my left wing back. Now, that might not suit a lot of people, and people might say we're taking away from Bukayo Saka, but he's that good. I feel he has to be in the team. And the two ahead of him would either be Bellingham and Palmer or Bellingham and Foden, and that would be the free role behind Kane, with the width of Saka and Trent naturally in a wing-back system, and the freedom for Foden, Bellingham to play in those areas behind the striker where they are the most effective. That's what I would do, and Kane would be up front. That's my idea. Let me know what you think, 4215, or slide into my DMs at Omar Duri on Pulse 95 Radio. What would you do if you took the seat of an England manager?